In Kentucky, we don't just take chances, we bet big. This month, I'm sitting down with 4 Kentuckians who made 4 bold moves and asking one question: what was the biggest bet that you ever took on yourself? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Town & Country Ford. No matter where life's adventures lead you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. What's crazy about this festival is that it sells out every year for the last 3 years before the lineup is even announced.
The spirit of the music festival has evolved into something that's really special just because we have a lot of the same people that are back every year.
You've described this festival as not a corporate cash grab, but a, quote, family reunion that just happens to have kick-ass music.
It's so wild to watch the path and see it, evolve like that. But I'm a fan of intimate music, like small settings, small festivals.
Next up is the guy that has built one of the most magical, fiercely authentic live music festivals in the entire country. Jon Grace is the director of Bell County Tourism and the mastermind behind the Laurel Cove Music Festival. It's in Pineville, Kentucky. And folks, it's a place that they call the Red Rocks of Appalachia. What's crazy about this festival is that it sells out every year for the last 3 years before the lineup is even announced. Jon Grace, welcome to the Best Bet podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I mean, many people with music festivals these days would die to have a bio like that.
Yeah, I don't know. You're going to make my head swell up and not be able to get out the door here, but I appreciate the kind words. I have a very good team of people that help me with doing all this. So.
To be able to sell out before your lineup is released is a massive feat in a time where festivals struggle to stay alive.
Yeah. So
what is that a reflection of? What are you doing there?
I'll brag on our team a lot because, like I said, it's volunteer based, like a lot of festivals are volunteer based, but this one is almost entirely volunteer based. And we just have a lot of continuity with each other. And I think the thing that kind of makes Laurel Cove a little unique is all of us that volunteer are all live music fanatics. Like, we all go to way too many shows per year. It's just something we all really enjoy. And the spirit of the music festival has evolved into something that's really special just because we have a lot of the same people that are back every year. So it builds this continuity and this sense of family, and it's just been a really beautiful thing to kind of watch grow, honestly. So.
You're born and raised in that area, right?
Yeah. Middlesboro, Kentucky, born and raised.
What was it growing up that made you look around and say, we're just on the verge. We could do so much with have an amphitheater here, and what was it in your mind where the gears started turning that led you to where you are right now?
It's kind of a weird story. So when I graduated from Kentucky in 2005, but my degree is nothing related to tourism whatsoever.
What is it?
It's in information systems, and I can barely keep track of our website right now, so I don't do anything with that whatsoever. But my county judge, I'll give him a shout out, Albie Brock. He hired me as the adventure tourism director in 2006, and we created because we have a lot of natural beauty down there. Mm-hmm. And we knew that between the hiking trails, we're the only county in Kentucky that has a national park and a state park, a lot of beautiful mountains, a lot of just different kinds of outdoor activities. So we try to capitalize on those and try to catalog all the stuff that we have. The music stuff came a little later, but I got into through ATVs and building like an ATV park. And I remember having a guy from Chicago come down to ride ATVs, and I was taking him around Middlesboro, which is inside of a meteorite crater. So you've got this unreal view of Cumberland Gap, and he was just like blown away. He's like, "You guys don't know what you're sitting on right here." And so I was like, so it eventually evolved, and I took the tourism job in 2016 when Judy Barton retired down there. So I've always, a lot of kids growing up, kind of look forward to getting out of a small town. But I was always a homebody. Even though I live in Corbin now, Bell County is always my home, and it's one of those things that I think it's just a really neat way to showcase your home to other people. And a lot of people come and almost consider it a second home now, which is probably the most special. So.
That is special. You've described this festival as not a corporate cash grab, but a quote, family reunion that just happens to have kick-ass music.
Yeah, I think that sounds like something I would say.
What would an outside traveler who's maybe never visited this part of the region, the mountains of East Kentucky, kind of like paint the picture for us of what is it like to be there at the festival, all those beautiful hills around you, taking in the music? Some of the biggest artists in the country, by the way, at the foothills of the forest. And what is that like?
Yeah, it's neat. And now, granted, a lot of them are on their way up. So people see our lineup and they're like, "Oh wow, Red Clay Strays or White Flores," and those guys we're getting big when we book them, but our budget is such like we have to be early with people. But the cool thing about Laurel Cove is, well, logistically, it's a really difficult place to do any kind of event because it's up on a mountain. Like load in for the bands is hard. Everything is difficult about putting it on. But the scenery, that venue was built by the CCC, which is ironically enough, when people say Red Rocks, it's the same group that built Red Rocks under FDR in the early 1900s. So there's a commonality between the two of like using the landscape to shape the venue, and just the aesthetics in that venue, like just the rocks and the benches and the acoustics where it's kind of nestled in this little hollow. It's really special both aesthetically and acoustically. It's really a neat place to have a concert, even though it's really, really difficult. So.
Do bands sometimes say, "Oh, I don't know if we're going to get all our stuff up there, John"?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's been a few. I mean,
it's not going to work today.
Yeah, I mean, even when Red Clay came in 2023, this was before. Now they've got a fleet of semis hauling their stuff, but that was when they still had their old like Artec van, and it was overheating coming up the top of the hill. And they were like, "Man, where are you taking us?" But once they get up there, the good thing, what we try to do is we know how challenging it is, and especially from a band perspective, and going to some of these bigger festivals and seeing like, bands loading their own stuff. We try to do little stuff like as soon as they pull in, hey, we got a crew to help load you out. Try to do little tiny things to make the weekend just as special for them as it is the people. And I think that's kind of what's helped us grow and endeared us to a lot of the bands that have played there. Just they can see that we're trying to do our best to accommodate them. So
you have had an incredible ear for finding the talent before they hit it big. I think every time that's what people around the state talk about. They're like, I don't know what Jon Grace is doing or where he's going, but how are you able to book these huge acts like right on the verge of their mega stardom?
Yeah,
you mentioned the Red Clay Strays.
Yeah.
People are like, how in the world did you book? How did you afford them? Well, you got them years early.
Yeah, and we have to, again, we're a very, very small scale operation. But again, it goes back to, I'm really lucky with tourism in my home county being something that the things that our tourism industry is based around are things that are that I'm interested in, whether it's the outdoors and stuff like that, or we're developing a live music scene down there where there's the Levitt Amp series down in Middlesboro, or we do some shows down at the Bell Theater in Pineville. But we just go, like I said, my wife and I go to a lot of shows. We have such a great music scene here in Kentucky, the strongest it's ever been by a long shot. And there's so many talented artists. And I've just always been a fan of live music, of all different genres. I mean, I grew up listening to everything from bluegrass to punk and heavy metal to hip hop. I mean, I just like a lot of different kinds of music. So I was always interested in seeing live shows. And like I said, we'll go to a festival like, we just went to Mile Zero Fest this past January, and we'll get there early to see some of the early acts. And, a lot of it's just luck, honestly. But, I think I've just developed an idea of what our community likes to listen to. And if I hear something and I like it and I think it'll translate to Laurel Cove, then we just try to jump on it early.
What are some of the festivals that you've visited in the last year that have really helped you hone in on some acts in the coming years?
Yeah. well, like I said, Mile Zero Festival is one. Americana Fest down in Nashville
Yeah.
is something that Tiffany Finley introduced me to a few years ago. And since then, I've gotten to know Destiny and a few of the people that are involved, and they actually come up to our festival. So that's another cool thing about Laurel Cove is like we have a lot of the festival people that come to our, like Bristol Rhythm and Roots down in Bristol, Tennessee. Americana Fest, Under the Big Sky, which is a larger festival out in Montana, was really great. And then there's so many great local ones like Master Musicians Festival to us is the OG of all of this. Manchester Music Festival. My friend Jessica Blankenship, who's the director down there at the Hall of Fame, does a lot of great stuff. She has a blues festival coming up this weekend, honestly. So we just, like I said, go to a lot of shows. I come to the Burl a ton. So, I mean, there's always live music going on somewhere, and that's just something we always enjoy to do.
Like
So.
you said, it really helps that everybody that volunteers with the festival and you yourself, you love music. So it's easy to find great talent when you're out there kind of just enjoying it and being relaxed about it.
Yeah, and I think that's key. There's been several people that have, the past couple of years that have contacted us, and they're kind of asking like, "Hey, what advice would you give?"
What do you do? What are you doing,
Well,
John?
yeah,
Why are you doing this? Like it's a formula to be figured out.
Yeah, and there's a lot, and now you're seeing kind of like there's a lot of, and it's great. Listen, I think that even at the risk of oversaturating stuff, I think it's better to have that than the opposite. But when people ask that, that's the first thing you have to do. Like you have to be knowledgeable about, and not only from like going to shows and stuff like that, but also doing your homework when it comes to booking. Like you just have to get thrown into this stuff, like when it comes to booking. But when you're booking stuff, you have to look at routing. If there's radius clauses, if there's other events that are going to conflict with it if you're scheduling.
Can we get your truck up the hill?
Yeah, can you get a vehicle? Like even with
How many trucks can we get up the hill?
yeah, and like we have to park. Like if somebody comes in buses, like they have been the last couple of years, like we have to park them off site and either cross load them or take the trailers up. So you have to figure all the logistic stuff out on the fly. So.
Festivals have changed so much the last couple of years. Of course, we see those big mega festivals, but a lot of them are struggling.
Yeah.
What is it about? Why do you think music lovers are gravitating more and more to these smaller, homegrown festivals?
Yeah, I think there's such a wide variety of festivals out there now. And I like the big festivals every now and then too. I don't go to a ton of them, but I will go to one or two a year. I love Railbird. I've always been a huge fan of Dave and all the people that put Railbird on. But I do think that there is the way we have to market Laurel Cove is a lot of the things that people can get aggravated at over the big festivals are some of the things that we can kind of do better. And there's obviously a ton of things that they do that we can never do, but we have to focus on the things that kind of make us unique. And I think that the thing with Laurel Cove especially is the quality of fans that we have there. One thing I didn't mention is we sell 80% of our tickets to only past attendees. So we want new people to come, obviously, to Laurel Cove. So we leave 25% for the general public. But we have developed such a great fan base of people who are coming there for the music.
You've got repeat followers.
Yeah, and it's not.
Attendees.
Yeah, and some festivals are a social gathering, and it's more of a social thing, and the music is just kind of the background. But Laurel Cove, we've been really lucky. The people that come here are there for the music and there for each other. Like we had Wyatt Flores who unplugged his guitar and literally did a acoustic set, and you could hear a pin drop in there. So that was really neat. And musicians, I think, feel that too. So.
Do you also think that people are attracted to coming to this festival again and again because it is more than music, because you're supporting the heart of Appalachia? You get to see a community, I think, in a different light. I don't think people understand how things have changed across Eastern Kentucky and Southeastern Kentucky.
For sure.
Until you go there yourself and you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is not what I envisioned it to be.
Yeah, 100%. And like, even just optics, like going to downtown Pineville, if you've not been to downtown Pineville or haven't been there a long time, you'd be really shocked at how absolutely beautiful it is down there. They've transformed the courthouse square. They've got 90% occupancy of all the businesses out there. There's little mom and pop stores. And I think it does. And that's really probably the most rewarding part of it is because, listen, Southeast Kentucky has done plenty to deserve some of the honest, there's some that is a little skewed in how they portray it, but there's a lot of honesty. But it's great to have people appreciating and seeing some of the better parts of what we have, because we have a ton of great people down there. And we actually have a documentary crew that's coming to film this year. And one of the things that they were interested is just how all these different kinds of people are getting along in a time when that's kind of hard to come by. And that really was one of the things that...
That'd be an interesting angle,
Yeah.
especially in that part of the country. Again,
Yeah.
it's an area of the country that you expect certain stereotypes to be
For sure.
profoundly out there, and it's just not the case until you go there.
Yeah.
How are they able to coexist?
Yeah.
How is this thriving?
And
Ooh, that's going to be good.
yeah, we're excited about it.
That's a positive message,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with, our festival crowd. Some festivals you'll go to will have it'll be more of one particular crowd of people. But with Laurel Cove, it's like there's all different kinds of people there. And all of them get along great. I mean, and that's the neatest thing is like people that you normally wouldn't see hanging out or over there hugging each other or crying, listening to a song together. And that's become probably the most poignant part of this whole thing is, and it really resonates because you see people getting along when outside it's so hard to come by nowadays. So it's been neat.
It's a special place. Going to pause for a short break. Coming right back with more from Jon Grace. I grew up in a Ford family. My dad worked at the Louisville Ford assembly plant. And it wasn't just a brand for us, it was a way of life. And that's the thing about Ford, is that they're woven into a part of our culture here in Kentucky and across America. So no matter where life's adventures may take you, Town and Country Ford is along for the ride. Welcome back, the Best Bet podcast, sitting down with Jon Grace. He has two hats on today. He is the Bell County Tourism Director, but also the founder and the organizer of the Laurel Cove Music Festival. Probably it's a festival that's gaining so much buzz here recently, so much so this year, Rolling Stone is coming to visit you. Rolling Stone magazine is sending a writer.
Yeah. Josh Crutchmer.
Jon, what is happening?
Yeah,
What?
again, I was happy when our daily news was coming up there. And if we had anybody from outside of Bell County interested at all, I was kind of like almost awestruck. And here the last few years, we've been really lucky. We've, one of the writers that I've actually known loosely, who writes for Rolling Stone, is coming down, and People Magazine did a great article on us last year. Garden and Gun. I think USA Today's bringing some people down, like things I would have never, and our whole team I don't think would have ever dreamed like that something like that could ever be possible. But I think it's a testament to their hard work. Like I said, we've got a great crew that, we have volunteer call lasted for 3 hours the other night, just going over everything, because people in this team work really hard to make sure that people are having the best weekend of the year. They give up their weekend so everybody else could have a great time. So,
well, you just mentioned like all the different hats that you wear and all the different hats that really all the volunteers wear, from your booking acts, your organizing volunteers, you're getting trucks up the road, you're helping people logistically. What is the single biggest logistical nightmare that you have to solve every single year that fans out front never see, that you thought, my God, if they could see me doing this?
There's a lot. Parking is the main one. Parking up there is really, really difficult. I think the parking lot has 100-something spots in it. So what we do is like we literally make it to where people who have mobility needs or medical issues, we try to save those spots for those people. But parking is very, very involved because we have to keep the road clear because we're heavily relying on shuttles, which are our local school buses, to get up there, and the road is like 2-lane and it's only a mile long, but it's really, really tricky. So there's a lot that goes into parking, and there's a lot that goes into like even rooms. Like we for that weekend, there's such a demand for rooms in the area that people stay, like even in Corbin, which is like an hour away. So, there's just that's why I was really grateful to the park for opening up camping for that weekend, because before that, we were having trouble selling the event out because there was just no place for people to stay. So now we've got all that figured, but there's a ton of logistical issues. Everything about it's tough. From load in, we have to load the band equipment on a side-by-side and take it up like 100 yards to the stage area. So nothing about it is easy.
Nothing is easy.
No, but it's rewarding.
Does it ever start really easy and you think, oh, come on now, it's not going to be this smooth?
Yeah.
So, don't you hate that feeling?
Yeah,
when
well-
things like start to go too easy and you trick yourself into thinking, oh, this is going to be great this year.
That's
like
so-
no issues. And I hate it. And then I take a moment and you like go, oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
That happened in 2024. 2024 went so smooth. And at the end of the thing, we kind of go down to our little green room area and, sit there and have a glass of bourbon. And we're like, this went so great. Like, we did so good this year. And then the next year, everything went wrong. So it went from like, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes you trick, like you said, you trick yourself into thinking like, oh, we got it figured out now. And then all of a sudden, it rains all weekend, or your shuttles get canceled, or the porta-johns don't show up, or a million other things.
Oh my
So,
gosh, the porta-johns.
yeah, that happened last year too.
They didn't show up on time?
They didn't show up at all.
Oh.
My buddy Corey, I'll give him a shout out. He saved me last year.
Emergency portalet showed up around the corner.
Yeah, so it was
Good to have a buddy in the portalet business.
Exactly. Yeah, so stuff like that you always have to think of on the fly, because I learned last year
That was the worst possible disaster. I know parking, but if I had to make a list, I would say porta potties.
yeah, and the shuttles too. Like when we thought we weren't going to have shuttles, that was a nightmare too. So Murphy's Law was rearing its ugly head in every single way. So
I'm going to say a prayer for you this weekend.
It always
Next
happens.
weekend for it.
Yep.
So you talk a lot about kind of the brotherhood of artists, from acoustic to folk to bluegrass. They know each other.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see the artists when they step onto this stage? And do you think that they treat this stage and this venue differently than they would a city or a big arena? Do you feel them react in a different way and feel like, an ability to share their gift in a different way because of the setting? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think so, and I think over the past couple of years, it's been as much as it's kind of grown word of mouth wise from fans. I think that's also happened with artists.
Yeah.
Like there's artists, and we didn't realize this till it kind of happened organically. But artists will go out and talk about like, hey, this is a really neat place to play a show. If you ever get a chance to go there, you should check it out. And we have such great community of artists from all over. From Alabama, we've had a ton of artists. Oklahoma, obviously, people like Wyatt Flores has been such a great advocate for us. Everybody's ever played there. Like even with the documentary this year, we have artists that are now like Red Clay selling out Madison Square Garden. And I was like, well, I don't want to ask them to be in this documentary, but we did, and like they were like, sure, of course we'd love to.
I don't think there's any greater compliment.
Yeah, it was
to you
so
than that.
special. And I think the thing with artists up there is like they can see and sense that the people are there, singing along, knowing every word, buying a lot of merch, like all the things that kind of get overlooked at other festivals, they get to experience here. And it makes it special for them, I think.
Outside of the tourism weekend, if somebody had additional time to spend, what do you recommend that they do? And where would you suggest they go?
Yeah, there's all kinds of neat little things that we're trying to do. We're working with the Kentucky Natural Land Trust right now. They're scheduling a few hikes the morning of, because the cool thing is like there's all kinds of interconnected hiking trails within Pine Mountain State Park. So there's hiking, there's fly fishing places right beside it. There's an 18-hole golf course literally right beside it. Anything you like to do outdoors, kayaking, all that stuff is within walking distance, really. So if you like the outdoors, and we even do like a little pre-show on Wednesday to kind of get people there early, so they can and try to schedule. That's why we moved to 3 days, so people can.
Is that
have
like
that
out there? Like, do people know about the little pre-show?
Yeah, it's actually I think sold out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all
What
kinds
a great
of
way to kind of sample the community with that.
and it gets them in downtown Pineville. We do
Right.
that at the Bell Theater. So there's all kinds of little things like that. We try to extend their stay and have the mornings free where they can go and explore and check out some of the like Chain Rock Overlook and some of the overlooks and hiking trails and things like that.
If
So,
you had an unlimited budget, a dream list, who would be your dream artist list
Oh,
for the
wow.
next music festival
Yeah, I'm
that you
hoping
would love to see?
I'm hoping one of these days we can have a restaurant tax like everybody else, so we can afford to do stuff like that, because our budget is so small compared to all of our peers. Um, but yeah, I would love to do a bigger thing. Maybe I'm a huge Sturgill Simpson fan. That's one of my all-time favorite artists. So if I had like somebody like that, obviously somebody like Tyler, who's done so much, Chris Stapleton, who's done so much. I mean, there's so many great Kentucky artists. And then obviously now I'd like to, bring some of these acts that we've had, like Red Clay and, 49 Winchester is a great band that we really think a lot of. Old 60 does a lot of amazing stuff for us. So, but yeah, it would be amazing to hopefully do a festival of that size one day. That comes with a whole new, I've done enough in that realm to know it has a whole other set of headaches, but
Imagine
yeah, I
getting
would.
the porta potties for that kind of
Yeah,
festival,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it would be amazing to be able to do that one day. So.
Is it, though, more fun to go after the undiscovered than it is saying, I booked a talent that 10 different festivals this year have,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's cool to have the big one, but is it a cooler thing to be a part of to say, we had this person first?
I think in a sense, I think the intimacy of it is what is the appealing part of that. Like, it was so crazy. My wife and I went to Boys of Oklahoma out in Stillwater with Turnpike Troubadours and Cross Canadian Ragweed, and Wyatt Flores was playing it. Well, Wyatt has played in front of 10 people in Pineville. And then we see him out there, and he has a football stadium of like 80,000 people chanting his name. And I was just telling my wife, I was like, this is so wild to watch the path and see it, evolve like that. But like I'm a fan of intimate music, like small settings, small festivals. I just think that the vibe is different. And even like we do some house shows at our house. We do 2 house shows a year, and like getting to do those are my favorite shows that we do all year.
Tell me about your house shows. They're literally in your house?
So we do them on my cabin porch. I've got a little cabin down by the creek, and we've had Charles Wesley Godwin's played it. Nick Jamerson's played it. We've got the Drop Tines are playing it this fall. Cassius Culpepper played it last fall. Drayton Farley's played it, and it's like 100 people, and that's it. So those are my favorite kind of shows.
Just hanging out in the back.
Yeah, and there's like
Hanging out at your house.
Yeah, it's like a little cabin on the creek, so you're just kind of they literally play on the cabin porch. So
That's
it's
so cool.
Yeah, and I like shows like that. Like I said, I think that's where the heart of live music really is. I mean, like I said, big shows are fantastic. I like them I like to go to those too, but for me personally, there's nothing like those intimate settings where you can really absorb everything. So,
Have you watched an artist in the past at the festival where you sat there thinking, and maybe you told your wife, you watch, this person is going to be huge?
oh yeah, Red Clay, when they played in 2023, they played right before I think right before S.G. Goodman, and it wasn't just me. Every single person in the venue was looking at each other like, that's the headliner next year. And literally, I reached out the day after the festival, and well, actually, their guy reached out to us, and he was like, "What do you think about a headline spot?" And I said, "Done." I was the
Immediately, yes.
quickest deal ever. So yeah, and then Cassius Culpepper, like when I saw him last year, and even the Creekers, like the Creekers have blown up tremendously right now, but they opened our stage last year, and like you saw them and you just see something different that's going on. So there's a lot of them.
Before the kids come running in, they ask you this rapid fire round.
Yes, ma'am.
It's loud in here today, but thank you for getting through this here. Rapid fire round: vinyl, streaming, or live?
Vinyl.
Your ultimate non-negotiable comfort food on festival weekend?
Good pizza if it's around, or chicken of some sort.
The best live performance you've ever witnessed with your own eyes?
Oh man, Charles Wesley Godwin on my cabin porch.
Acoustic set or full electric band?
I'll go full electric,
Really?
but I like both of them. It just depends on the setting, I guess.
The first spot that you take an out-of-town musician to eat in Pineville? Or you can pick like another, even in your hometown.
Shades is a great place. Shades, I'll give Shades a shout out because they help us with food for catering. Shades Cafe in Middlesboro, I'd say.
Describe the spirit of the Kentucky music in just one word.
Authentic.
Amen. Jon Grace, thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Laurel Cove Music Festival is actually coming up. We're taping this in June. This airs in July. And so it happens in June. But please go to their festival because, as you just learned, it kind of sells out before that lineup is released to get in line maybe for next year as well. So wherever you're listening, please subscribe and like and share the information right here about the Best Pet podcast. I would love your support. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. No matter where you're watching this right now, please leave a review because that gets the word out about this particular podcast. So until next week, have a good one, everybody. Cheers.